Welcome to my tutorial for the Visible Body web application. This application will be the substitute for learning the anatomical structures you would typically learn in lab. You should go through and read the introduction page that I posted in the module section of Canvas before watching this tutorial. So let's begin. So the page that you're looking at is what you should be seeing. This is the student view for my course. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see my courses, assignments, calendar, course resources, gradebook, and announcements. Okay. What you see in the center part of the screen are 4 folders. The first one is getting started with Visible Body, understanding the courseware, the use of the application. So that was part of the initial orientation that you should have already gone through. You also see 3 additional folders: endocrine, digestive system, and reproductive systems. What you don't see are the information related to the topic of water, electrolytes, and acid base. I'm going to present that in a separate lecture, and I'll have that posted as well for you to review. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So when you're looking at this page, the first one is getting started with the application, and that is this page, which is Visible Body courseware, and you should have already gone through this. So let's go back and look at this page. And if we were to start with the digestive system and open this up, you'll see that inside of this folder, there are subcategories. There is physiology for digestive system. There is the digestive system itself, and then there's anatomy, ID. So these are tied into your textbook, the Salden, that's put out by McGraw-Hill. So some of you have been using that textbook. So that's what this information is tied into. And then you'll see graded quizzes. So the graded quizzes are the quizzes that I'm going to use to substitute for your exit exercise. Now, some of these graded quizzes have more than 10 questions to them. And the whole total point count will still be no more than 10 points because we're going to continue the same point count for each one of the exit exercises for the lab. Okay. And then you'll see that in the reproductive system, it's not complete. So that one hasn't been opened yet. The graded quizzes, the anatomy, digestive system, and the physiology for the digestive system have all been open, so you can begin to explore those and start navigating through the different structures. So let's go to the digestive system. Let's pick the anatomy for the digestive system. When you do that, this is what comes up. It's broken into 2 components, the upper digestive system and the lower digestive system. And so when we open that up on the lower digestive system, this is the anatomical structure that should come up. Okay. Now, using my mouse, I have the ability to rotate my structure from side to side, looking at the inferior view and looking at a superior view. And then if I put my cursor on the anatomical structure, then hit the space bar, and I can move it up and down or from side to side. So if you need to do that, use that space bar while holding the arrow or the whatever it is that you're using your mouse to point to the anatomical structure to do that. All right, so I can use my wheel. I'm going to increase the size a little bit more and raise this up. And then I'm going to click on this structure, this yellow colored structure. This is the omentum. And if you look over here in this box on the right-hand side, it tells you what it is. It's called the greater omentum. Okay. So the greater omentum is attached to the inferior aspect of the stomach, and it goes into detail here in these books, and it gives you more information about the omentum, its anatomical location, its physiologic purpose. So nice information located within this box. Okay, so if we click on this, which it says pathologies, there are none associated with the omentum. I'll have more information about this on other structures. And then you can hit on pronunciation.
Greater omentum.
It'll help you with pronunciation of these structures. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to remove this. I have the ability to fade it. If I come over here and click on fade, it now becomes transparent. You can see right through it. But I want to go ahead and hide it and just there. So we can now see the colon and the intestines. So if I click on this structure, this is the transverse colon. And the transverse colon has very specific function, very specific anatomical location, and you can read about that in this section. Okay. I also have the ability to remove this. I'll do that in just a second, but I want to go ahead and click on pathologies. And now you can see various sorts of medical conditions that we commonly see within the colon. Adhesions, appendicitis, and so forth. So if you have an interest about learning more about these medical issues, go ahead and click on that. All right, so let's remove that. I'm going to remove that component. Now it gives me ability just to look at the small bowel as it transitions from the stomach. So this is the pyloric sphincter. And following that is the early or first part of the duodenum. There are three parts to the small bowel. We'll learn about that. The duodenum, and then our jejunum, followed by the ileum. And then the ileum then connects to the large bowel where it forms the cecum, which is the first part of the ascending colon. So this would be the ascending colon. So you have the ability to highlight those structures, read a little bit more about them. So let's go ahead and rotate. We'll rotate the body, look at the posterior view. And so if we rotate it this way, then if I click on the structure here, then we can see that this is the duodenum, the posterior aspect of the body looking at the duodenum. All right, so there's something else that I want to show you. And that is located up here in the left-hand corner. This is the menu. This is the menu for all the different structures. So we have regions and we have systems. And what you see listed are all the different systems. Urinary, lymphatic, there's respiratory, there's circulatory, okay? And some of these have associated videos that you can watch as well, and you'll see those in each one of the sections. All right, so let's go up and look at respiratory. Now, respiratory has each one of the different components that we've already covered for respiratory. Well, let's choose, let's say this one. So now we're looking at the lungs and their location within the thoracic cavity. So here I have the ability to do the following. I can add or subtract systems in order for me to better understand the location of these anatomical structures. So let's say, for example, I want to add the muscle layers. And now the muscle layers will appear. And then I can then identify the muscle layers, the different muscles associated with the thorax. And then I can remove them. And I have the ability to add the digestive system. So now the digestive system is also found on the same anatomical structure as the original that I started with. I can remove digestive. I can add arteries. I can add veins. And I can make this as complex as I need to better understand it. Okay, so let's go ahead and close off the different systems. and go back up to the box in the left upper hand corner. And let's look at what else is available. We have Gross Anatomy Lab. And Gross Anatomy Lab allows you, if we click on the abdomen, allows you to go through the dissections by removing the most superficial layers. This is female. I have the ability to click up here and I can change that to male. But I have the ability now, I'm going to kind of screen up in here, and then identify these structures as to what they are. Okay, so this would be our external oblique, and then it goes in and talks about origin, insertion, and other really cool stuff about the muscle itself. All right, so let's say now what I want to do is I want to start dissecting. So I'll go down here to the toolbar at the bottom, and I'll click on dissect. And now I have my scalpel. I can actually click on that and remove it. And so what I'm left with are the underlying muscle layers. And I can start, every time I click on that structure, it becomes removed. And I can continue to click and continue to click. And I'm down to the peritoneum. And then now I'm back down to what is the greater omentum. So here in this page, I can start removing the omentum and then identify, turn this off, identify then the underlying structures, transverse colon, ascending colon, and the ilium and so forth. Now, and then I can have the ability then to go ahead and dissect that out and see what lies underneath there. So a nice opportunity to do some almost real dissections using this anatomical structure. So that's kind of cool. Let's go back to all the different systems views. There's cross sections, there's microanatomy, and then there's muscle actions. So I'm hoping that you have an opportunity to go through each and every one of these as they're related to the systems that either we've already covered or the systems that we still have yet to cover for class. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email, use Canvas preferably, and then hopefully by next week we'll have a chance to open up the WebAR and start having discussions about some of these structures and making you feel a little bit more comfortable navigating through this process. All right, hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.